Je suis Mathieu Bastareaud et vous êtes en train de regarder Rugby au Wrap-Up.
Coming up next on Rugby Wrap-Up, Major League Rugby rumors and signings. Rugby Wrap-Up brought to you in part by The Balanced Palate, nutrition for peak performance. And the Pig and Whistle on West 36th Street, the world's best rugby pub. Hey everybody, welcome back to Rugby Wrap-Up. Matt McCarthy and Steve Lewis in Midtown Manhattan at the Fantasy Sports Network Studio 34 talking rugby. And Steve, we are talking Major League Rugby despite the fact that the championship has been decided. Season 2 is in the books. There's still Major League Rugby talk going on.
There's still things happening, right? Off-season moves, transfers, players, still exciting stuff happening, yep.
And one exciting thing was that you snuck out of the studio and got an exclusive with Mathieu Bastareaud of Rugby United New York.
Yes, indeed, and we sort of conducted an interview in a sort of mix of Scottish and French and whatever. So, hopefully it came out all right and we both made sense to each other, but I think we did.
Yeah, you did well. You did well. Let's check it out.
Good afternoon, Steve Lewis here, and I'm here with French icon Mathieu Bastareaud. Bienvenue à New York.
Thank you very much.
Savez-vous comme il fait froid ici en janvier et février?
Yeah. Yes, a lot of people talk about that for me, but it's okay.
Yep. And so, your motivation, why New York? Pourquoi New York?
For me, I think I need a big changement, big challenge, a new challenge. For me, change the country. It's a big decision for me and my family. So I'm excited and happy to come here.
And so, have you watched many Major League Rugby games this year? Have you been able to see any?
Honestly, no, I don't watch, but I watch some highlights from New York or other team, and it's good. It's good. Play good. Good skills. It's fast. They play a lot. Not like in top 14 or we have a lot of scrum, lot of line out. Here they won't play, and I like that.
So, what in particular about New York are you looking forward to? Is it sights, the restaurants, the sightseeing?
For me, first NBA game, for sure NBA game, because for me it's a dream. NBA game, and I want to discover everything about sport, and not the restaurant. I don't need.
And so American sport generally, and so the experience of living in New York is the attraction for coming here.
Yes, of course, because New York is it's a big city. It's I think the most attractive city in the world. And when I start talking with Pierre, for me it was amazing to come here, play rugby, and I think maybe 5 years ago I never thinking I signed here, but it's good. This is a life.
Well, merci et bonne chance dans cette entreprise.
Thank you.
Il est très heureux.
Wow, merci. Thank you.
Très bien, mon ami. Très bien.
It's all the expensive education, expensive schooling. Thank you, mother.
That was impressive. Impressive.
Impressive.
All right, that's just a cognate, right? Okay, you can get away with those. No, but that was cool, and he's a legit player.
Yeah, and actually, it's interesting. So, since that signing, he didn't make the French squad. He was somewhat surprisingly omitted from the French squad and the French list of reserves. So what that means is he's got a 6-month gap, because he's not reporting for duty here in the Bronx until January or so. So he's got a 6-month hiatus. He's been in talks with various clubs, Stade Francais, Montpellier, and most recently Lyon.
And wasn't Munster in that mix? Or
Munster were early on, I think. But I think it's more likely it'll be a French club, and I think it's the Lyon thing. Apparently, is more longer term, but I think Stade Francais makes the most sense.
So how would it work longer term?
Well, they would probably sign him to a new contract. Having been released with Toulon, right? So he would sign a new contract with Lyon, which obviously includes this loan season with Rooney. So I would imagine, I'm just guessing, that 6 months with Rooney would be grandfathered into his new contract. So he would play for Lyon, be released, come over here, and then boom, end up going back to Lyon. But that's conjecture at this stage.
That's amazing. So that's, thinking from an American sports fan, the way that would work, that would never happen with lawyers and injury and.
Right, but this is a unique occasion, right? You've got an established world-class player, Bastareaud, coming towards the end of his career, who has significant negotiating leverage, right? So it's different. It's not a 21-year-old.
Yeah.
So you need to be here,
right?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So he's got that leverage. He's got that personality. He's got that. He's able to get away with it. Why shouldn't he get away with it? He's earned it.
How would you rate? Because he's on paper, he's really not that old, right? But he's got a lot of miles on him. How would you rate him right now in his career in comparison to himself?
Well, we saw him in the flesh the other day, right? And he's looking sharp. He's looking, he's always a player that historically has had weight issues, or people feel he's too heavy, not fit enough. But that's as fit as I've seen him in a long time. He looked pretty sharp, looked pretty good. He's a wrecking ball as a player. He's an experienced player, and he's obviously a massive asset to any Major League Rugby team. So can't wait to see him wearing orange and blue.
And his English was actually very good.
Better than your French.
Absolument.
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 Yeah. So it's exciting to see. Some other interesting news.
Yeah.
Major League Rugby signings and San Diego Legion have set out their stall. So actually, another player playing in France, Steffon Armitage, a back row player of English extraction, but has been playing there for a while. So he's signed with the Legion. And then Dominic Day, who's a pretty well-regarded back five player, has been around quite a few clubs, most recently Saracens, has also signed with the San Diego Legion. So that's two significant, legitimate forwards they've added to their roster, and we're still 6 months out.
And that's for a team that lost at the death.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be fascinating. I think this league is now moving on leaps and bounds, on the field.
Yeah.
As we discussed ad nauseum, the quality of the product went up. The games are competitive. The quality of the rugby is good. And all of a sudden, you're now getting significant interest from quality players. Not one or two, but quite a few. You could see each team having 2 or 3 top-notch players post-World Cup. Of course, that's the time everything happens, right? Everyone plays through a World Cup cycle. Then they choose to either monetize, go where the money is, or go where they want to go.
So anything in the pipeline that you think might come up next? What do you got your ear to the ground? Anything, any rumors circulating, percolating?
Yeah, I think Major League Rugby, I think the most interesting thing perhaps in the next period of time will be coaches. So there's a lot of coaches. I think it's 8 out of 12 will be new. So who are those coaches? When do those get decided? Because they will have some input in players. Probably too much, but some input in players as they should. But I think that's the next story, right? When do these coaching vacancies start to get filled?
Yeah. Good stuff as always. And Stephen, unfortunately, again, we are out of time, but ear to the ground. Excellent reporting, Stephen.
Both ears to the ground.
Both ears to the ground. That's difficult,
It's
folks.
difficult to do.
It's very
difficult to do.
Only a few select lizard-like people can do that. And on behalf of the lizard, I'm Matt McCarthy for Rugby Wrap Up here at the Fantasy Sports Network, Studio 34 in New York City, signing off.